Oh, we're going to English again. Back to English, and we're happy to have Lonnie Monka here from Jerusalem. Poet, organizer, artist, studier of ekphrasis, and very casual.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks to Gilly and Karen and the place for having me. It is awesome. So I just wanted to read some poems I've been working on. I call them indeterminate poems. There's room to kind of make up the poem in the middle of trying to read the poem, because I've been thinking, maybe, I think it was, what's her name, Lali?
Lali.
Lali, I really like the term, right, homo poetica or homo robotica, something like that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah. So with that in mind, I think this is, I started feeling like reading whatever is written on the page makes me feel like a little bit too much of a robot, and what would it be to try and do things differently? Let's try this. Huh? I'm a robot. So all of us being robots, reading and talking here, and the limits of self-referentiality. If a person were to draw a picture of a person drawing a picture of a person drawing a picture, then we eventually would be included in the picturing, if we ever happened to use the prefix meta before. Meta poetry, meta getting stuck on your way from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, meta floor underneath my feet. If you say that everything can't go meta, then you're just a metacritic. Yet anyone who hasn't happened to use the prefix meta would be excluded from the picturing. And we, meta people, shed continual meta tears for those people yet to include themselves in the picturing. And the unexamined life is the only enjoyable way of living, claims the face of the unmeta people outside of our picture. All hail changing poetry, which changes as we change, changing it, changing, so on and so forth. Once there lived a tyrant who sought ways to tyrannize. The tyrant went in search of a place wherein people had never heard of tyranny. Walking from village to village, the tyrant would speak to the people, saying, "Go away from this country faster than you think you even wanted to go. Because at the end of the day, there is no tyranny." Upon realizing that I have trouble focusing on hearing people read poetry sometimes at live events, were lightning to strike my foot, would my hand jerk? And would friends revive me by rushing me to the hospital? Were I, heaven forbid, to become disabled, how much stress and discomfort would I feel comfortable inflicting on my friends and my family? And yet, you could always pay somebody to bring you food and drinks at a cafe, and you could pay somebody to probably print out books of the poetry they've been reading. And if you had enough money, you could pay for all the things that you thought you really wanted. But you can't pay lightning to strike, just as you can't pay people to understand what they can't understand, or to face, or to say what they can't. Anxiety over trying to think too hard, making things up in the middle of a poem. We are surrounded by silent objects. This camera doesn't have to say one word back to us as it records whoever's up here tonight. That bookshelf has never spoken about any of the content it holds on the shelf here. And still, we love to allow objects to speak. This stool, which nobody that I saw was really sitting on, can't stop talking about how it has been touching a lot of butts. That table back there is holding the food of my wonderful fiance, and it speaks of mushrooms that were warmed in the kitchen in the back. The world was spoken into being, and the world is spoken into being, and we all are the foster children of silence. I wasn't paying attention to time.
Are you ready? Give it one more. Give it one more.
Yeah, one more? All right. You know, instead of, I have one really short one, and I wanted to do a quick experiment actually. Can I invite Josh and Larry up here to quickly read one of these poems? Just help me make it up on the spot. Come on, both of you guys, come up here. Give it up for Larry and Josh. Make it up. Think less, talk more. Very short.
Good.
What was I, schmuck? I would fuck you all. Today, this morning, I had this weird dream that I couldn't get out of. I kept blinking my eyes like this. Jesus, I can't get the hell out of here. Had it been a pleasant dream, I would have been satisfied staying put. But no, it was no fun at all. And I had to shake my head like this, really, to get up. So what did I do at 3 o'clock in the morning? Made myself a cup of coffee, smoked a cigarette. Well, another cigarette. I gotta count now the hours until I can smoke my next cigarette. Now, I don't know what's going on now. How come I wasn't invited to read? I don't have to read at every reading, but I like to be invited. You know what I mean, guys? Okay, this is for Lonnie. Lonnie's terrific. Poems are getting better. All of you are getting better. But when it comes to change, I don't know what has to change except the poem itself. You gotta change the poem. Only other poets are reading poems. And goodbye, Gutenberg. It's been a nice run for 500 years. Nobody but other poets are reading poetry. So we gotta do something about it. Man, you got me. I don't know what to do about it, but continue to write and to improvise. Improvisation is the key to freedom. To make a revolution, I would like to know what revolves from a revolution. Otherwise, it can be really fucked up. And you, my friend who wrote from Iran, don't be dismayed. You're wrong about Tel Aviv. People are happy here. We are crazy, but we're all happy. Because when we look at each other, we know we have company in our insanity.
All right.
I love you all, and that's about the best I can do, and you have a couple lines.
Good job.
You want me to keep it up? Can somebody tell me?
So Josh, quickly.
Can somebody tell me if Josh is going to read it?
I did not expect this. I'm going to do a quick Cajun poem. Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
That was it. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for organizing. And give it back to you.
Thank you.